Companies are very, very rarely charged criminally, and when they are, it is when there's a systematic and methodical, intentional breaking of the law, like something like Volkswagen, where they tried to avoid emissions testing in a very methodical way.
Or Enron, who was involved in a company-wide scheme to...
Yes, better example. And in fact, that actually has, the fallout from Enron and Arthur Andersen has even put the skids more on criminal prosecutions of corporations.
Made it even harder to do so.
Yeah, but well, just the Department of Justice less likely to do so because it's so devastating to the companies if a company is charged. I do think what they're talking about here is the potential for more executives to be caught in the crosshairs of this campaign finance conspiracy that Michael Cohen has pled guilty to. That could be the person referenced in the Michael Cohen information as employee 2. Everyone is of the belief at this point, there's been a lot of reporting that employee 1 referenced in that information, who actually cuts the check to Michael Cohen to reimburse him for the payments that he made to Stormy Daniels, is Alan Weisselberg. But there hasn't been much reporting on who employee 2 was, who received a request for authorization from Alan Weisselberg.
Okay.
And so that's someone that may be in the crosshairs of this campaign.
So, and they would be in trouble. And again, there's also been reporting that Alan Weisselberg has been offered at least limited immunity in exchange for his testimony in conjunction with this case. And so that's a whole nother angle here. But they would be in trouble here for essentially facilitating that payment, which was an illegal payment designed to influence the election, and trying to make it look like something else, trying to, I mean, is it essentially participating in a cover-up of the crime for which Cohen has pled guilty?
So there is a pathway to prosecution for that, but that's much more difficult because the Trump Organization is a private company. That's really like a books and records accounting fraud offense, which is often you'll see with public companies where they itemize something in a false way. They don't include the proper explanation for what an expense is. And the Michael Cohen information somewhat notably lays out in greater detail than necessary the cover-up, as you point out. If someone were to be charged, though, with campaign conspiracy that Michael Cohen pled guilty to,
that it's designed to influence the election, that that it's being disguised as something else, that it is an illegal campaign contribution.
Yeah, they had to know that the payment was made to silence Stormy Daniels in this case, so that the public did not hear about it, and that it was, as you point out, with the intent to influence the election.
So they had to be in on that element of the conspiracy.
That's right.
Okay. And Donald Trump is the president of the Trump Organization. He has handed off, supposedly, control of the Trump Organization since he became president, but at the time of these alleged crimes, he was still, obviously, the principal executive at that institution. If he is implicated in this conspiracy, as Michael Cohen said he was in court, and he's implicated on the Trump Organization behavior side of it as well, if this is being pursued by SDNY now, as Bloomberg describes it, how does SDNY deal with the fact that one of the subjects or targets in this investigation is now the president?
My guess is they kick it on down to Robert Mueller, who's going to be making any decision about what to do with Donald Trump, or at least they will consult with the special counsel's office. This is my hunch as to how these things work. My guess is that when this case was referred to the Southern District, there was an understanding that anything that was related to the president, because of the sensitivity of that and the legal issues surrounding whether a president can be indicted, would ultimately be decided by the special counsel and really ultimately by Rod Rosenstein, who is overseeing this part of the investigation. But they're not going to do anything on their own without consultation. We run into the same issue that we run into with the potential collusion discussion or obstruction of justice, which is, can a sitting president be indicted? I mean, based on the recording that was released with Cohen and Trump, where it demonstrates that Trump knew about these payments,